Racing bikes is awesome. It is such an incredible thing to do, and I'm very lucky to have done more than my fair share in the past. But a season of BSB, even in the support classes, doesn't cost thousands of pounds, it costs tens of thousands of pounds, and an equal number of man hours getting things there, getting the bike prepped, getting the team together. It's an incredible operation, but it doesn't really suit the amateur clubman. It doesn't suit someone who just wants to dabble in it for a bit of fun on their weekend off. Even club racing, you still need to get a license, you still need to go through training courses, and you still need a fair amount of kit and equipment just to be on the start line. That race we did last year on the Suzuki SV650 really got me thinking. We managed to get on the grid and race and be reasonably competitive, until I fell off, for a reasonably low sum of money. But there must be a cheaper way, and there is. If you've never heard of the Freetech Endurance series, check out some of the videos 44 Teeth did on it. They did a whole season of racing endurance racing on 4-stroke 125 bikes. I raced against them in a 24-hour race at Teesside a good few years back, and it was enlightening. On a bike that cost less than £1,000, on a set of tyres that last all race, on a bike that did 70 miles per gallon even in race trim, I had an absolute blast. 10 to 15 horsepower on a go-kart track with 60 other riders is as mad as it sounds, and genuinely really good forms of racing. So when I got a call from a couple of mates of mine to go and race the Freetech Endurance series at their once a year Andalusia flyaway special, you had to count me in. 8 hours of hard racing on a 4.5 kilometer track in the sunshine was not to be missed. Check out how we got on. So the way the Andalusia Freetech round worked is we all shipped our bikes out, included in the entry fee, out to the Andalusia circuit in the south of Spain. When we arrived, first job was uncrate the bikes, get everything set up a garage, and then get out for some practice. 4.5 kilometers is a long old track, especially on a 125, and it meant there was plenty of opportunity for chipping away at lap times, getting good slipstreams, and also making mistakes and blowing a lap completely. Throughout the Friday practice session, everyone jumped from bike to bike, everyone helped each other out, and being all in one massive garage, it gives a real family atmosphere. There's no hiding in your race awning, just dealing with your people. There's no teams with barriers up. It's just a huge open space. There's levers, there's tools, there's kit scattered everywhere, and I kind of like the chaos. Now, when you first get on one of these bikes, it feels absolutely ridiculous. We run Bridgestone Moto 3 slicks on them, which means there's an incredible amount of grip, and they steer in a heartbeat. You've only got to look at the apex of the corner, and the thing's on its side, foot pegs dragging, elbows dragging, absolutely railing around the turn. Once you get your head round how quick they change direction, you can start taking absolute liberties with corner entry and just how late you brake. There's bits on this track that I've ridden on 1,000 where the point where I would turn in on 1,000 at the end of my braking, I'm still wide open on the 125, and I just tap the brakes and turn at the same time. It's a really addictive way of riding, and all you're trying to do is pinch half a mile an hour, half a meter, just to get that little bit more corner speed to catch the bike in front by the end of the next straight. It's a completely different style of riding to racing on 1,000, but it's actually so good for accurate line choice, good late braking, and smooth corner speed, because if you wrestle them too hard, they're tiny little lightweight bikes, they'll get upset about it. So after a full Friday of practice, everyone headed back for a few beers and a pizza and an early night ahead of the big race Saturday morning. Saturday morning, this is the big day. We've got an 8-hour endurance race starting at 9 AM. That means there's a lot to do. I spent a good few hours helping people change tyres, everyone mucking in to get every bike ready ahead of the start of the race. Just before 9 o'clock, people pushed their bikes out onto the start line for a proper Le Mans start. We had just over 40 bikes lined up for this round, and shall we say a little bit of a range of riders.
Freetech Endurance Andalusia. Huge line of bikes and riders. Le Mans start with just before 9 o'clock in the morning. We've got 8 hours of racing to do, refueling, rider changing. We've got this amazing Andalusia circuit. It's a 2.5 minute lap on average for people. It's going to be an epic day's racing.
At the front, we've got current Junior Talent Cup racers, youngsters who are hungry to build a career in racing and using Freetech to get loads and loads of track time and loads of practice at their racecraft. And at the back, we've got people who aren't young junior racers looking to make a career in it. People that are just there with their mates. And the same goes for bike preps. Some of the bikes are absolutely gorgeous. Full Grand Prix replicas, fantastic carbon fiber bodywork, anodized bits, quick release wheels, you name it, it was on them. These are properly crafted race bikes. And at the back, we've got bikes that have had the headlights taped up and sent out onto the circuit. Our race bike was a CBR 125R, which was somewhere in the middle. I helped prep the engine for it to make sure it was reliable for the year, and apart from that, it was fairly stock with a few homemade parts to race it up a bit. I'm super grateful for Nick and JP for giving me an opportunity to race their bike, and they're exactly the sort of person that I think Freetech absolutely works for. Two guys who've ridden bikes together all their lives, who fancy to go at racing. They were never going to pile thousands into prepping and racing 600s and go into a club race, but the cost, risk and ease of riding on these 125s has got them hooked, and they've been back and back time and time again. The start of a Freetech race is chaos. Again, like everything else, it's a brilliant fun event, and bikes running everywhere, people sprinting across to try and get a quick race start. It's properly fun to watch. But after that, it settles in to the churning out of laps. Riders are limited to a half-hour stint, followed by a neutralisation zone in pit lane. So as you come into the pits, you have to have engine off the bike, and the bike has to be run down pit lane so the next rider can jump on at the end, get to the gate, fire up and ride off. That keeps things safe in the pits and removes the need for expensive things like pit lane speed limiters or speed guns to check no one's cheating. It also adds a little bit of a Benny Hill comedy moment watching guys in full leathers sprinting down pit lane pushing little 125s as they're trying to gain an extra second by running a bit faster in the pits. With an 8-hour race, there's a lot of strategy involved, timing your rider changes and timing your fuel stops. The concentration involved in riding pinpoint precision for 30 minutes at a time over 8 hours on a hot sunny day is, yeah, it's more than you'd expect. A lot of people think it's just mucking around on tiny little bikes, but it's properly hard work. And what tends to happen is you end up locked in a battle with someone for most of your stint. So you spend 30 minutes taking every inch, every apex, every corner, trying to get an edge on the guy you're racing with. And then you catch a slower rider, find a nice way past, and then you're back into it again, battling, running out over the grass, over the curves. It's addictive. It's an absolute riot. Now, throughout the race, we had a fairly clean race with no crashes. I made a few mistakes and came close, but at the end of the race, we were doing pretty well. A mess up on our pit stop strategy meant we blew out a lap, so it jumped us back down the order. After 8 hours of racing, we did manage a top 20 finish, but actually 8 hours of racing, loads of smiles and some excellent battles was all we wanted out of this event.
That's it, we're all done, race finished. 8 hours of hard endurance racing. Finished, I think we end up just outside the top 20 thanks to our little timing mistake, but it doesn't really matter. We had an absolute blast. I am completely exhausted now. I did the last stint, it was half an hour, and I spent 25 minutes having the best battles, chasing people. I was one kid, I was just trying to reel in, I'd lose him a bit, I'd get him a bit. And so it was brilliant, and then I made a mistake and he got away, and that was it. As 5 minutes to go, all I could do was look at the clock. My body was going, please stop, please stop. It's mad how hard work it can be riding around on a 10 horsepower CBR. But there's a huge paddock full of massive smiling faces here. It's such a good-natured event. It's such a fun event, and it's so accessible. If you fancy giving racing a go, don't need to have an ego about it and race a 600 or race 1,000. Come and do something like this. You'll get loads of laps, you'll make you a better rider, you'll have tons of fun, and you'll make some really good friends. It's a great paddock to be in. Motorbikes are still awesome, and racing them are even better. Love it.
All in, the Freetech Endurance in Andalusia cost us around 500 quid a head, including entries, bike shipping, flights, fuel, hotel accommodation, and a couple of beers in the bar afterwards. That's an incredibly cheap 2 days racing in Euro. And if you do the British rounds, it tends to be about 150 quid a head for a team of 4 riders. I don't think there's any better value race series for track time, fun, and accessibility. If you fancy finding more about it, check out the Freetech Facebook page and the Freetech Endurance website, and hopefully we'll see you on the grid soon, because we've got some big plans for 2026 to be back out with a bigger bike world team and enjoying the endurance racing scene with the best of them.